Not that we should downplay any of it. I don't think I've dealt with the same volume of threats that Secretary Benson and some of my colleagues have, but I was certainly separated from my own now almost 13-year-old son for several weeks during the holidays in 2020 as a result of the disinformation and lies about the 2020 election. We were targeted, and I will say, looking at the threats of violence that have been made against myself, Secretary Benson, and our colleagues, while men and dads are not exempt, even if we look at our colleague, Secretary Raffensperger in Georgia, a lot of the threats of violence that were made against him were made specifically against his wife, right, and his family. And so something about being women in these offices and being mothers in these offices has invited these specific, very increased levels of threats of violence, right? Because as moms, our instinct is to protect our kids.
Yes, of course.
So maybe we'll buckle under the pressure, right?
Yes.
Or maybe we'll, right. And that is, I think, a particular aspect of this that is not talked about as much, but that I think is even
it's
worse.
It's deeply rooted in the misogyny of the culture of these people who have been brainwashed in many ways, and in some cases, honestly, I think have always sort of held these beliefs and these prejudices and their own I have to say, just personally, after I started doing activism work in the abortion space, I too received many death threats. And my first thought was my kids, and like, do I continue to do this at the risk of my children? And then I thought, well, yeah, I guess I have no choice a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I have to.
Yeah. And for them.
And for exactly for them. And I imagine both of you have that feeling as well. And I'm really sorry, by the way, Secretary Oliver, that is, being separated from your kid is not ideal.
No.
Painful.
And this is just, the saddest part of this is, like, this is just part of the job now, right? How do we keep ourselves and our families safe, and what's necessary in order to keep them safe? And if it means putting your kids somewhere else so that they are safer, so that I, as a mom, don't have to have that worry on top of everything else, so that I can just do my job that I was elected to do, that's what I'm going to do. That's what Secretary Benson's going to do. That's what we're all going to do, but it's not right.